Again, when it comes to the first entrapment they did on me, all the way back in 2017, October. Okay, remember I lived at 219 and 217 was next door. So for that entrapment, not the one where they came back exactly 4 years later and hit me for the same charges in 2021 because of 221 next door on the other side in exactly October, which they got warned for. But the one in 2017, okay, for that one, that was over me doing drugs, and they hit my dealer and hired him to help them get me arrested. So he was the one who set up the people at me that they picked. And they're agent provocateurs that I didn't know at the time. And that was Dirty Drea, Jason, Tavia, Pat, and Chris were the people on the scene. Okay, and also that was the year President Donald John Trump became president. And they did a name con on him at me. Okay, so for that entrapment, the whole thing was Tavia. Jason was divorcing Tavia. That was, president's initials again. And then they were parents, and they hit me on the day that the children divorced Tavia from being their mother legally. And that's the day they arrested me. Because they said for neglect and abuse. Okay, so it was that day. But remember, Tavia had to do with house paint. It was in Alpha. And the whole thing is, in 2013, when I moved into that neighborhood, my parents asked me what house paint I wanted, and I said rainbow color with neutrals. So they did the outside green and the rest inside. Except for I wanted the bathroom violet, and they painted it turquoise. And that's what Tavia was hitting. Over the Bloody Mary boogeyman shit of the church, and then Bloody Mary. And she had red hair. She was also playing the Little Mermaid, Tavia Lynn Markham, TLM, The Little Mermaid. Same color. Remember, that was over The Little Mermaid, Davy Jones Trident Pirates. And then she was also playing Evil Lynn because of the middle name. And they stole my He-Man collection. Her hair as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. So it was definitely like redhead. And then right before they entrapped me, she dyed her hair neon red. Blood red, neon red. Okay, but, her name is Tavia over my bathroom, violet turquoise. It was supposed to be violet, they painted turquoise. The whole thing. And then that's what Pat represented also. Painted turquoise. So they hit me with them, and it ended up where they entrapped me, coerced and entrapped in a real weird way. And then got me on one of the streets in that neighborhood called Bonnie. Okay, and that was their Bloody Mary. There was Bonnie and Carrie. And they got me right there at the corner of Bonnie and Carrie. With Tavia and then Pat, who has a red Mustang. Like Bonnie red Mustang bathroom. And then painted turquoise Pat and violet turquoise Tavia. That's what they did in Alpha Hit. House paint. And that was the entrapment. So that's the whole story on Tavia. And then, of course, The charges they gave me were terroristic threatening vandalism. And then her husband's name was Jason Markham, and I got jail misdemeanor. Okay, it was definitely an entrapment, definitely an illegal entrapment, coercion. Period. And Pat was just in on it over painted turquoise and then patrolmen. And then represented president on President Donald John Trump, Pat, Dirty Drea, Jason, and Tavia.
That's a fact.